Holy smokes, this ain't no jokes. I had flat batteries yesterday, twice, in both my locations, at work and at home. And I want to tell you guys how it all happened. Um, yesterday morning was quite interesting. We were sitting at the shop and Nathan and I were sitting having a conversation, and all of a sudden the lights flickered and bang, we lost power. And we're a shop, we've got batteries, we're off grid here, we've got the grid as a backup. Now, I had a look over at the inverter and I saw this system alarm grid loss. So that was yesterday morning at 8:44 that we lost the grid yesterday. And we ended up in a blackout. Now, you might say, hey, I've got batteries, how come you had a blackout? Well, the reason we had a blackout is because the way we design most systems, install most systems for people is it's all about financial returns when the grid's available. It's about getting the maximum out of the battery. So every night you're running the battery flat because most of the time we have a really reliable grid. Now, I want to show you some really cool features that basically Tesla have and also Victron to basically, help with this sort of situation so you don't end up having flat batteries. A lot of people will invest a lot of money to have batteries installed in their house and they just want to have power. And the reality is that there's only two that I know of. Systems that actually have this feature that the customer can actually go in. Well, there's three inverters really that the customer can go in and change their settings quite easily and have backup power when no one else does. Now, the reason, like I said, it's been raining, our batteries have been depleted, they haven't been getting charged properly, so we've been living with flat batteries here at work and at home for basically the last sort of week. And yesterday what happened is someone crashed a car into a power pole. So what happened, we lost power basically at the shop and at home. Now at the shop it come on quite quickly. We had the blackout, it come back on. At home, my system basically went for an hour basically before we got power back. Basically it was an hour that my wife lived on batteries for before it blacked out completely, and she was just like everyone else and had no power at home. So the really cool feature with Victron to basically fix this and what happens, but it requires you as the customer to go in and basically set it. Oh, where are we here? It's called Keep Batteries Charged. It's quite a simple setting, and I was actually thinking about doing it the other day. I thought it's been raining, things haven't been good, the battery's not getting charged, so we might give them a charge. Oh, that was the wrong button. And I didn't, so we ended up with a blackout situation. So with Victron, we just come in here, we want to go to ESS. Now, with a lot of people say, with the generator backup, so the way mine's set up at the moment is optimized without battery life. So what this setting is basically designed to do is flatten the batteries flat until there's nothing left in them. So we go in here, we go keep batteries charged. Well, as you can see in the settings before, it was 40%. So my batteries were designed that we run them down to 40%. Once we get to 40%, if once it gets to 40%, the grid's still available, we won't deplete from the batteries anymore. It'll wait till the next morning, sun will come up, charge the batteries to full again, and then if we have a grid failure, I suppose that's why my wife yesterday had power for about an hour, because basically we had 40% of the battery capacity left. So because we had 40% of the battery capacity left, it would, she had 40% of the batteries before she had a blackout. So I went for an hour at home. We're at the shop, we run the batteries to as low as possible. As you can see here now, my system, it's starting to charge the batteries from the grid. So what happens here, the difference between these two here is critical loads, that means it's run from batteries. This here means it's run from the grid. So what's happening now is the grid's running these loads not from batteries, and then the excess is going down here to charge the batteries. So this is a really good feature with the Victron unit. You can go in and set it, just go bang, keep batteries charged, and it'll keep your batteries charged. Until if there's a grid failure, the thing with this here, you're really required to go in and turn it off. So if you don't go in and turn it off, it's always going to keep your batteries charged. So the Victron's a bit of, you're required to be interactive and know about it. Now we'll flick over and show you the Tesla. situation. And one thing I really like about the Victron is you actually can shove a generator in a Victron. So if power is really, really important to you, I'm going to jump over to the Tesla photo. So just with the Tesla, I can't show you the app live from my computer screen, unfortunately. There is another video on our YouTube channel if you want to jump over there and have a look at the Tesla monitoring so you can see an app live. But basically, is there a website where I can monitor my system from a desktop computer? At this time, you can only monitor from your app. So with Tesla, you can only see it from your app. So I've actually made some photos here to click you through and show. So we'll just start here. When you go into the Tesla app, this is what it looks like. Shows your battery fully charged. And these photos are taken at different times of the day to give you an example. If you go in and click on the power flow, this is what you see. If it's a daytime, you see how much your solar's producing, how much it's sending back to the grid, or how much you're taking from the grid. In this situation, this customer's using 400 watts and it's taking it all from the Powerwall. This is more of a day. The panels are doing 2.1 kilowatts of production. It's charging the home and then going, excess is going to Powerwall. If there was excess, to be fed it back to the grid. So let's go into the Tesla settings. Now, Tesla have a couple of different options in the backup modes. So you can have backup only. So what this means that if the grid does fail, then that's the only time your Powerwall will kick in and work. Now, self-powered, this is designed to maximize from a financial point of return with your Powerwall to, this customer's got theirs set at 3%. So literally, what will happen, it'll go down to 3% and then go back to the grid. So you can change this up, reserve for power outage. So this is just like in my Victron one, I have mine at 40%. You can take this to 40%, 50%. The ideal with this here is for you to, I suppose, reduce your batteries as much as possible. This customer here is up in the Northern Rivers and we have a pretty reliable grid most of the time. I would say very rarely this customer has a blackout. This customer's installed this from a financial point of view and to use more of their solar energy to be more self-sufficient. This advanced time of use, so I'll just use Sydney as an example. If you live in the Ausgrid area in Sydney, in New South Wales, the peak demand times are from 2 to 8 o'clock. So that's when energy is the most expensive. In this advanced time of base, you'll see in the other application I've done the other video on, you can set it so that you never buy energy from the grid if you've got a full battery between the hours of 2 and 8 o'clock at night. So you're always, if you're buying from the grid, you're going to buy the energy in the off-peak time. So helping you from more of a financial point of view to work with those financial numbers to make the Powerwall pay for itself. Now, storm watch, and this is a Tesla feature. What happens in a storm watch situation, that you'll get a notification on your app and say, hey, there's a storm coming. How are you feeling about charging your batteries from the grid? You can go, yep, charge my batteries from the grid. I don't want to have a blackout when everyone else has a blackout. So that's a really good thing about with the Tesla, you'll get that notification, the storm watch. You can have it set that every time a storm watch comes up, you can just have it automatically charge your batteries if power is really important to you. Because the reality is, if it's rain for a week, or it's even rain for 2 or 3 days, most people have flat batteries, and that's normally when we have blackouts. It's been a couple of days of rain, bad weather, solar panels haven't been working, batteries are depleted, and then you got a blackout. So these are really good features. You can go in and click and go, okay, just turn it on the backup, or in the storm watch, which is great from Tesla. Now, the problem with these hybrid inverters, we'll call this a hybrid inverter, and the Victron more of an off-grid inverter. So with the Victron, I've got the grid as a backup here at my house. You can shove a generator into the Victron. So there's a couple of different ways of doing a generator into a Victron. You can, a lot of our farms that we do that, we have generators hardwired in. Basically, we've got the grid and we've got a generator all wired in. So when the grid fails, the generator starts, well, the batteries will get depleted, then the generator will start. And in businesses, that the energy is really, really important. That's what we can do with the Victron. And Selectronics is another brand of inverter as an example that you can use. With the Tesla stuff, these hybrid inverters, we're going to call these, like Tesla, Redback, GoodWe. There's a load of cheap inverters out in the marketplace. You cannot shove a generator into them. I've had lots of people in the shop here saying, hey, Mike, and I'll use GoodWe as an example because someone's gone around this area and sold a load of GoodWes to people as an off-grid inverter. And, Michael Mobbs in Sydney, if you want to hear about Michael's story, Michael got burned about $60,000 from the guys that did his solar system. They sold him a Goodwee Alpha ESS thing that would work completely off-grid, and Michael's warranties were void because it's not an off-grid inverter and you can't shove a generator in it. Not that Michael shoved the generator into it, it's not designed to work off-grid. So Tesla's the same. So if it's really important to you to get this real backup, and the cost difference, it can be from $2,000 to $10,000 more for technically on paper for the same thing, for the same amount of usable storage and a 5 kilowatt inverter and blah, blah, blah. It can cost $2,000 to $10,000 more to have that proper generator backup. So be very wary of any hybrid inverter, because I would say 98% of inverters on the market you cannot shove a generator into. So be very wary if power is really important and that's what you want in a blackout situation, because most guys will tell you anything to get the sale across the line. You know, and you cannot shove generators. And I actually asked, get it in writing from the manufacturer. Will they allow a generator into your system? And the reality is most of them will say no. Like Tesla, for example, Tesla does work in a blackout situation for a very long period of time, but they do ask that it gets connected to the grid for a period of time and that it's connected to the internet all the time. So one thing with your Tesla Powerwall, if it's not connected to the internet, if it doesn't get connected to the internet every 30 days, your warranty is void. So they will not warranty a product that's not connected to the internet. So it's quite important with these things to have a think about and be aware of that sort of stuff. So yeah, because it's always too late to find out when you've had a blackout and you want to run your generator and you go solve the system and they go, no, you can't do it. So be aware of that stuff. So thanks for watching, guys, and any comments, if you've had the same sort of experience as me. I sell batteries for a living. I had 2 blackouts in one day. The person in the car crash, as far as I know, everything's all good, no one got hurt. So yeah, it's just, there's never really a situation unless you want to spend $1 billion on batteries and have so much energy storage that you can go 2 or 3 weeks without a blackout, without backing up. And that just really doesn't make sense from a financial point of view. But hey, look, if you've got the money, that's something you really want to do, hey, do it. Don't let me stop you. I'm happy to help you design, and if you're looking to put a load of energy storage into do that, let us know. But I'd like to know your experience in comments down below and what's really important to you. Are you happy to have a blackout in those situations? Or would you really like to have the generator? So thanks for watching, guys. And if you can give the video a like, we'd really appreciate it. Have a great day.